There goes that computer calendar ping above the usual office hum. Germana reads as she types.
Kick off on Friday. We'll eventually send the draft by 12.
We'll send the draft by 12.
Welcome back to episode 2, Eventually or Not Eventualmente, of our False Friends Friday podcast series. Another fast, dialogue-driven day with Germana, who keeps saying eventually when she means if needed, possibly. Ray recasts in real time so conversations flow. A 60-second note and tiny homework close the episode.
Right, no eventually for deadlines.
Timeline check?
Draft Friday noon, final Tuesday. If the client changes scope, eventually we can add a Q&A slide.
If needed, we can add a Q&A slide.
If needed, got it.
Anything optional?
The training is eventually optional for contractors.
The training is optional for contractors. Or, it's optional if applicable.
Optional if applicable.
And you at 5 p.m.?
I can eventually join the last 10 minutes.
I can join for the last 10 minutes if necessary.
If necessary, yes.
Client call.
Morning. Status?
Draft by noon, final Tuesday. If necessary, we'll add the Q&A slide.
Good. We eventually moved budget to Phase 2, so keep Phase 1 lean.
Eventually means in the end or after some time.
Understood. Ultimately, we chose Phase 2 for budget, so Phase 1 stays lean.
Exactly. And if needed, push the demo by 1 day.
If needed, we'll push the demo by 1 day. Thanks.
By the way, Germana, did you finish last week's project?
Not yet, but we'll eventually finish next week.
We'll finish next week. Eventually means in the end, after a while.
The team worked late and eventually we solved the bug.
Perfect. Eventually. For
Eventualmente,
use. If needed, if necessary, possibly, where applicable.
If needed, we'll add 2 slides.
The feature is optional, where applicable. We'll finish by Friday.
Yes, we can finish by Friday because the client eventually replied after 2 weeks.
Quick notes. Meaning check. Eventually equals
Alla fine. Prima o poi.
after some time. Eventualmente equals if needed. If necessary. Possibly. Where applicable, fast swaps. Eventualmente aggiungiamo 2 slide.
If needed, we'll add 2 slides.
Alla fine abbiamo scelto il piano B. We eventually chose Plan B. La formazione è eventualmente facoltativa. The training is optional. Pronunciation flash. Eventually. Finally. Ultimately, possibly necessary 60-second practice, repeat after each. If necessary, we'll reschedule the demo. We eventually agreed on a new timeline. The extra workshop is optional. Upgrade the following phrases. We'll eventually send the report by noon. We'll send the report by noon. I can eventually join the call. I can join the call if needed. Key takeaways. Use eventually for outcomes reached in the end after a while. Use if needed, if necessary, possibly, where applicable for
Eventualmente.
avoid eventually with fixed deadlines or options. Phrase bank. If needed, we'll add a Q&A slide. We eventually chose Plan B. The training is optional where applicable. We'll finish by Friday. If necessary, we can move the meeting. Tiny homework. Fix. We'll eventually send the minutes by 6 p.m. Translate. Eventualmente possiamo spostare la riunione. Write 2 lines. One with eventually, one with if needed. Suggested answers for description. We'll send the minutes by 6 p.m. If needed, we can move the meeting. Examples. They eventually approved the budget. If needed, we'll add more data. You'll find the practice phrases and tiny homework in the notes below. There we have it. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and comment with your own false friends. Turn on notifications. New episodes every 2 weeks.